What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a special Saturday night edition of AEW on TNT. This is your review for October the 16th, 2021. We are on our way to Full Gear. We have one match official, of course, that being Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And very soon, we have a new champion, because I'm calling it now. Hangman Page will be your next champion. But we will hear from him tonight. Also, the AAA Tag Team titles are on the line as the Lucha Bros put those titles on the line against a mystery tag team that Andrade is supposedly bringing in from outside the company. Some friends of his, he says. Also in the main event, it's Bobby Fish versus Bryan Danielson. After what Bryan Danielson went through last night, how will he be able to keep up with one Bobby Fish? All that and more tonight. So, we started the show off with... I can get my notes thing to go, right? Come on, you stupid fucking thing. Okay. Malachi Black and Dante Martin. Of course, last week on the show, on TV, Dante Martin out there on camera was like, I have a problem from anybody out there, out in the back. If anybody, just give me anybody. The lights go down, lights came back up, Dante Martin got black masked out of his boots. And Malachi Black accepted. So you had this match, and Dante Martin is no pushover. Dante Martin did not get his jobbed out. Dante Martin fought this entire match. This match was to just get more shine on Dante Martin in a losing effort. Leo Rush, of course, was with Dante Martin. I guess he's trying to do this whole venture thing. Maybe this will lead to Darius coming back and getting Martin Top Flight back together. Who knows what's going on with Darius, because we've seen him only once since he went out with injury. Who knows what's going on with him. Leo Rush is, of course, trying to keep Dante's grounded sometimes, because Dante's trying to grow up all the time, and Darius is telling, Leo's like, don't do it, man, listen to me, and things will go up, you'll be set. And yes, he gets a lot of time in this, and he gets a lot. He comes very close after a Meteor Roundhouse. German suplex bridge gets Dante Martin kicks out. Fans chanting, "This is awesome," as Black grabs wrist control and drags Martin to the corner. Black goes back up top, looks for a bring Dante with him. Dante trying to fight it off. Both men fighting for position. Hits a super hurricane runner, tries to go to the cover, but too much damage has been done to the knees as he landed square on his left knee, and he was not getting back up. Dante wants a double jump moonsault, and he hits it. Dante calls over the cover, but Black kicks out of two. Black with a single leg crab again, but Black releases the hold as he grabs his ribs. He seems to have some rib problems. Dante elevates the ropes. Dante with a kick to the midsection. He springboards off of 1 foot, which Leo Rush is trying to talk him down to don't do that. Just go in there and get him. Stop going up so much. And he misses, he turns around, gets hit with the Black Mass. I'm not calling it the heel kick, that is just lame. The Black Mass for the 1, 2, 3. That was a heck of a match. Good opener. AEW has one thing they're going right well with, and it's openers to the TV shows. When it comes to either it's Rampage or Wednesday night or Saturday night or a pay-per-view, the opening match is always going to be a good match. Backstage, Tony Schiavone is with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and they talk about last week's ass kicking they got. Christian Cage, his neck isn't feeling great. Christian is at home because of an 8-man tag match. Jungle Boy says it's a miracle Luchasaurus can walk because of the botched powerbomb last week. Cole gets, then the Elite come in, they say some words, but then they jump them from behind the Young Bucks do. They beat them up. Adam Cole puts Jungle Boy in the camel clutch and makes him watch as Luchasaurus gets triple powerbombed through the table, and they're all happy about that. Inner Circle reunite as they enter the ring. This is the first time we've actually seen the Inner Circle together since probably Stadium Stampede. Like, seriously, since the Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing. Santana and Ortiz have been doing their own thing. Sammy Guevara has been doing his own thing. Jericho and Hager have been doing the whole thing. Oh, Jericho was doing stuff with MJF. and Hager was just not doing much of anything. This is the first time we've literally seen all 5 members of the Inner Circle in the ring at the same time since that night. I mean, Sammy won the TNT Championship the week after Jake Hager and Chris Jericho suffered that big beatdown. So Jericho and Hager went there to celebrate with him, even though Santana and Ortiz were in the post-match, which you saw on Sammy's vlog if you watched that stuff. Santana asked how Miami crowd is doing in Spanish. He's glad that the crowd brought the same energy than last night, saying it's one of the only few towns they can count on. Hey Minneapolis, you're gonna have Rampage and then Full Gear. You gotta bring that same energy 2 nights in a row. Him and Ortiz have been handling their own business, but they also noticed how Jericho and Jake Hager have been dealing with America's bottom team. He's interrupted by Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year and all the other cronies they have. He talks for a while. Jericho gets his "Welcome to Fat Face Dipshit," which you get a "Fat Face Dipshit" chant. Please don't put that on a shirt. Calls out Paige Van Zandt and asks if she's obsessed with him and wants to slide into his DMs, and he said he wouldn't touch her with her husband's genitalia. What is so special about Paige Van Zandt? I've seen a bunch of people talking about her online, in that she got 1 win in MMA, and after that she got her ass kicked every other time. So what's so important about Paige Van Zandt? She ain't that good looking either. Says he jokes are done because the Inner Circle reunited and they won a 5-on-5 tag team. There was no one crazier in AEW than the Inner fucking Circle. Lambert says if it was up to him, they would beat them up easily, but they have bigger plans. Championship gold, and the only man who has the stroke to get this tag team match that she won is Tiny Tim, Sammy Guevara. He says Guevara's the only one who can make this happen, and we're going to negotiate next week because I am sick of being in this town I used to call my hometown. Sammy says he'd take anyone in the American top team because he's the TNT champion. I'll see you bitches next week, and I'll beat all your asses. Get that shit out of here. The sooner this American top team shit is off my television, we should call it the American bottom team because they're just wasted. It's a waste of fucking time. Santana Ortiz should be focused on getting closer to the tag team title match between the Lucha Bros, which we all know we want. But tonight, the tag team champions of the Lucha Bros take on La Super Ranas. And immediately because CM Punk was on commentary, immediately the second they come out, CM Punk's got them made. Who are these guys? Who are they? Immediately it's like, yeah, it's FTR. It's absolutely FTR. It was FTR. Now, early on, the Super Ranas, they try to take Phoenix's mask off, and the commentators are wondering, is this under AAA rules because it's tag team titles? Because if that's the case, if this match was under AAA rules and a mask was to be removed, that is an automatic disqualification, whether it's a Lucha Bros or the Super Ranas having their mask unmasked because it is FDR. Eventually, they do take the masks off, the Lucha Bros rip the mask off, and hey, it is FTR. So, picture-in-picture, FTR is in control to keep the pressure on Phoenix. Cash tacks in. We get back to commercial break. Phoenix is sent to the middle row. Penta runs in and he's sent to the apron. Phoenix fights off FTR as he calls Phoenix over. He helps launch Phoenix into the springboard double dropkick. Phoenix laying in punches on FTR. He sets FTR up for Penta to do a top rope double dodge stomp. They both cover. No. Penta hits his big foot, gets his foot grab, but launches Cash into Dax on the outside. Penta hits a top rope Kongiro, and Phoenix hits a plancha on the outside. Penta and Dax legal in the ring. Lucha Bros looking for the Fear Factor stomp combo. Cash cuts them off. Penta misses the sliding dropkick. Cash misses the title hit. Penta hits the super kick. Penta sent to the timekeeper's table. Phoenix avoids the title hit and knocks Cash out. Dax rolls at Phoenix, grabs the ropes, but Phoenix still kicks out. Phoenix slingshots from the ropes and hits a hooked kick. Tully Blanchard runs down to make the distraction. Dax hits Phoenix, who is going up for some kind of moonsault looking thing. With the title belt, Dax hits the spine belt, the brain buster. 1, 2, 3. And we have new AAA tag team champions. Probably going to be what AAA has feared the most is a non-luchador style team of FTR. And this is fine. FTR, of course, is going to probably lead to a rematch for the AEW tag team titles at Full Gear, which, if everything goes for it is, FTR versus the Lucha Bros was on that list of Tony Khan's matches. And that looks like that's what we're going to for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Of course, the Lucha Bros will not be losing the AEW Tag Team titles to FTR by any stretch of the imagination. Those tag team titles have got to be on the Lucha Bros until we get to Santana and Ortiz at Revolution. And that match better be happening at Revolution, Tony. Get that shit going. So, Tony Schiavone is backstage with Dante Martin and Leo Rush. Rush said tonight was meant to happen. He tells, everyone has to fail to get better. And he looks at Don, he's like, what did I tell you? Listen to me, and everything will be money. He says now, from this day forward, Dante will have a new tag team partner, and his name is Leo Rush. Rush goes for the fist pump, tells Dante to do it too. He reluctantly does, and that is that. So this, in my opinion, feels like this is going to lead to Darius making his return, and then Darius Martin, and then Top Flight will reunite after many months not being a tag team, and we'll see what happens from there. Schiavone meets the new AAA Tag Team Champions. MJF comes in and celebrates. He asks for his money, and Andrade asks cash or check. MJF says both, is given money, tells Andrade that he only gets FTR for one night, and walks off, running towards the ring area, dressed to compete. Why is that? We'll see in a minute. I don't know why this match happened. I don't even know why this match was booked, but it was Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler didn't get to do anything. Moxley beat the shit out of him. Death Rider, that was that. What was the point? You could have taken this match, the time for this match, and gave it to Bobby Fish versus Bryan Danielson, which had a pretty decent time for the match. But you could have taken this 2.5 minutes, 3-minute match right here, if it was even that, and given it to them or some other segment. You didn't have to have Jon Moxley on this show. You already had a stacked card. Jon Moxley's Wheeler Yuta should have been on Dark or Dark Elevation, if anything. Giovanni's backstage with Serena Deeb asking about her attitude change. He said it was only a matter of time before she would have to get this division, drag this division up to her level. Before she can say much else, Shida comes in and attacks her. They brawl and go straight to her next match. So it looks like Shida and Deeb's rivalry is just getting started. And Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida is going to be looking to take Serena Deeb down and get her 50th win by beating Serena Deeb. We'll see what happens with that. That is something that still is an interesting storyline for them to do. Even though other women are getting closer to that 50 win mark. Nyla Rose was at 45 the last time I saw it. And there's a couple other that are getting close to that 45, that 50 win mark. So if you're going to do this thing with Shida, and you want her to be the first woman to get the 50, you better do it quick. The Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks take on Dark Order's Alex Reynolds, Ino Luna, and John Silver. This match is happening because last night on Rampage, Dark Order was having an interview segment. They were happy to see their boy Adam Hangman Page back, and they said, John Silver offered these guys a match. He challenged these guys to a match because and honestly, it made it seem like it was going to be something they would do at the pay-per-view, because that's what they want to do, but that would happen tonight. So early on, the Dark Order is doing the pose in the ring. The Super Click are none of that and attack them immediately. And this was John Silver gets a bunch of his cool shit in, and everyone else gets their cool shit in. Like, we got a Mr. Sacco thing going on here with Matt. I think it was Matt got his shoe taken off, and then somehow Uno got his sock as well. So he puts the sock on his arm and puts it into his mouth for the mandible claw, which crowd went fucking nuts for. And we got a Sacco chant. What else? Adam Cole usually does his camel clutch as the Young Bucks kiss his face, which the Young Bucks were going up to do that, but Alex Reynolds and John Silver pulled him out, go in and do it to him as well. He's doing it. Yeah! Oh shit! Looks over and sees John Silver and freaks out for a second. Good shit there. Just a good, fun match with some comedic bits. But Reynolds hits an elevated knee drop. The Bucks hit super kicks, and Cole hits a Panama Sunrise. Uno and Silver drop with super kicks. Bucks hit the BTE trigger. Crow hits the boom. 1, 2, 3, and the super click are your winners, as they should be. Again, very fun match. Definitely just a good bit of comedy in there, which it's good to have comedy matches, but you don't overdo it or make it cringe. This was good comedy right here. Post-match, Jungle Boy runs in and attacks Adam Cole. The numbers game is too much, but Jungle Boy ends up on the outside. He grabs a chair, chases the super click off. Brandon Cutler is still there, taking the spray cans and trying to spray the Cole spray, but he sprays it into the chair. Jungle Boy hits him with the dick. He kicks him in the dick, hits him with the chair, and then puts him in the snare trap, uses the Cole spray on Cutler as the super click walks away and scurries away in fear because they pissed the Jungle Boy off. I could easily see Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole at Full Gear, obviously. I mean, Jungle Boy ran down and the first person he went for, he didn't go for the Matt, he didn't go for Nick, he went for Adam Cole, baby. So, honestly, I think that's where they're going, is a rematch between those two on pay-per-view. And if that match is confirmed in the coming weeks, that's your opener to Full Gear, plain and simple. We see video from Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson showing up to Dustin's wrestling school. They open the garage door. Lee Johnson, Brock Anderson, Red Velvet, and Kylan King are all there. They ain't happy with how Cody's been acting. Violet actually slaps him for it. Rhodes is in the training session with the Nightmare Family crew. Kylan King slaps Cody eventually. He isn't happy that he's not learning anything. Arn shows Cody a picture of Dusty, I think, doing something to Arn and asking, do you think the kids were crying because Arn was getting beaten up and bloodied by his dad? No, because I had it coming. I hate to admit it, but I had it coming. He says Malachi Black has it coming. Lee Johnson comes in for a grab. Cody back elbows him and shows that he is ready. So they're pretty much trying to beat the Hollywood out of Cody Rhodes, because that has been the running theme, is that Cody Rhodes is too Hollywood. He started AEW. He was all in there for AEW at the beginning, but since this whole thing started, he has become more and more Hollywood. He goes and does the Go Big Show. He now has Rose to the Top. He's doing all these other ventures instead of focusing on professional wrestling, whereas Malachi Black just has professional wrestling, and that's it. Malachi Black's not going off to shake hands and kiss babies, star in a movie or star in a TV show. He's here to kick ass, take names, and get paid. That is it. That is the difference between Cody and Malachi Black. And now Arn Anderson, who sees this and is sick of seeing Cody just not being Cody, he's a shell of his former self, is trying to snap him back into what the American Nightmare was before, when AEW first started, and get that fire and hunger back so he could actually beat Malachi Black. Which one? He should not beat Malachi Black. And well, one of those matches possibilities on the paper apparently for Full Gear was Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. That match is actually happening next Saturday, so I think we can cross that one off. MJ makes his way to the ring, says "Silencio, por favor." He calls Miami trash and calls out Justin Roberts for not announcing for his match against Darby Allin. He does his own in-ring introduction, tells Darby to come to the ring for the match. He notes MJF Darby isn't in the building. He claims he no-showed the match like a gutless coward, proving that he did break Darby mentally. He's like, what? Darby was attacked last week? Tony Schiavone, did you know anything about this? I am appalled. I don't know anything about this, but it's still unprofessional for Darby not to show up, and says Darby is number 2 behind him. MJF says he's going to give the crowd MJF versus Darby Allin, as he calls Warlord out here, who brings out Rensburg and tells Rensburg to count to prove that he is the past, the present, and the future. Rensburg gets to 9. Lights go out, Sting's music plays, Sting walks out the tunnel and goes to the ring with a baseball bat. MJF pushes Wardlow into Sting. Sting gets hit. Sting hits him with the bat, and MJF walks off, runs away. Sting tells MJF to come to the ring, drops the bat and says, come on, let's do this. MJF takes his jacket, scarf, and everything else off, looks like he's going to go into the ring, but backs off and walks away. So there is that. So what is going to happen? Darby versus MJF is going to happen at Full Gear. Even before this leak of the full card supposedly happened, I kind of pictured that going to happen just from what happened last week and going into this week and the week out before that. So they did the beatdown so they can just delay it to the pay-per-view. Shivani is backstage with Dana Jane, is about to talk about the Dark Order and everything else when the Faker comes in, calls the Dark Order losers. They have a brawl, and that is going to be the next women's title match on Friday next week, as Dana Jane will challenge for the AEW Women's World Championship. Of course, she's not going to win because the match that they're building to is Thunder Rosa and the Faker. When that match is going to happen, I don't have a clue. It should happen at Full Gear. It's the only match that makes any fucking sense because this match is happening on Saturday. Next Friday. There is nobody for the champion to face because you've had to beat everybody but Thunder Rosa. And no, you do not want to do Jade Cargill because that would be a travesty of a match because one, they're both heels. How did that work out against Nyla Rose? And two, Jade Cargill is green as grass and can't wrestle a match more than a minute and a half or her flaws start being exposed. And like I said, how did that work out with Nyla Rose? That match was a train wreck. Do we need another train wreck in this women's championship run? No, we do not. So I don't know what's going on for the women's title going into Full Gear. It's kind of bad when you have a terrible champion and you only have one contender, but you want to try and hold that contender off as long as possible. They might not have a choice but to go to Thunder Rosa because they don't have anybody else. Penelope Ford versus Kiera Hogan again. Don't know why this match happened. It was a decent match. Kiera Hogan is just someone who's been hired recently by AEW. Penelope Ford has just been there since pretty much day one. Now, Penelope Ford, my biggest problem with Penelope Ford is if you watch her matches closely, it sometimes just feels like she's hesitating. Like she wants to do something, like she wants to throw an elbow, but she hesitates and it comes off looking choppy. She wants to do this, she wants to do a move here, a move there, a sliding elbow, and it just, everything looks so like choppy to her with her because she looks like she's just hesitating, like she's scared that she's going to do an elbow and hurt her opponent. I don't know what it's about. Penelope Ford hits a springboard, handspring cutter. That looked pretty good. And puts her into the Muda lock. And Penelope Ford picks up the win. After the match, it's Ruby Soho comes running in and attacks Ford from behind. She sends Ford out to the ramp as the bunny comes in to save her. Ruby dares the two of them to come to the ring. But they back off and stare down Ruby. Now, the story coming from Ruby Soho is that she is the runaway. She is got no friends in AEW. So she's pretty much battling the bunny and Penelope Ford on her own. Will she and Kiera Hogan end up having some kind of alliance to take down these two? Who knows? We don't there was no Kiera Hogan in sight during the beatdown of Penelope Ford. She beat down Penelope Ford and then just threw her out of the ring onto the ramp because when they're in the James L. Knight Center, they have this ramp that goes from the stage to the ring. Why? I don't know. But it's probably how the arena's set up. I don't know how the James L. Knight Center actually looks off the top of my head, so that's what they do. We see in the Redeemer Miro in a dark room. He's praying to his God and wondering what does he have to do. Have I not kneeled enough? Have I not prayed enough? Why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken your champion? My God is not mistaken. He actually mentions, you gave me the body of granite, but a neck of sand. Is that some kind of joke? I thought that was hilarious. He says, everyone else will know his pain until he becomes your champion, until he sees her once again. Probably talking about CJ, his wife. As he says, he can't go home in the state that he is in right now. Johnny is in the ring to introduce Hangman Adam Page to the ring, who says his friends and him left Ring of Honor and New Japan. They're cushy jobs, which honestly, if they didn't want to come and make AEW, they could have re-upped and be signed with Ring of Honor. They wouldn't have been no harm, no foul. They probably would have made some money. Maybe they could have went to WWE, but no, they left and they came here to start this company. And who is to say 2019 is a failure of AEW and AEW goes under before 2020 even gets started? You don't know that. We don't know that. Yes, we all should have known in our hearts that AEW was going to succeed, but there was always that off chance that something could happen and AEW just falls and fails. They didn't know that at the time, and then I'm guarantee you AEW that we see in 2021 was not the vision completely that those in charge in AEW had in 2019. Things have changed. The pandemic happened. Some talent had come in that they didn't expect to get at the time. So many things have changed from 2019 to 2021. However, he changed. He promised day one when they had that press conference. When they had that first press conference and Adam Hangman Page came out. He said, and he promised that he would be the first ever AEW World Champion. Of course, he was interrupted by Pac, and that's where their little their blood feud came to be. That ended up them having a match outside of AEW because Pac was the champion, the Dragon Gate champion at the time, and Dragon Gate didn't want him to lose. AEW didn't want Page to lose because he was going into a match against Chris Jericho for the AEW title at Full Gear at All Out, so they had to come up with a compromise. But he said he was going to be the first champion. He failed. He lost there. He lost time and time again. He ended up losing his friends. Fans chanting cowboy shit helped him along the way. Cowboy shit helped him forget the past, connect with friends that helped him when he was down. He says he won the Casino ladder match after putting his body on the line. He won't predict how Full Gear will go on for him, but he knows the fans believe in him. And for the first time in his life, he does too. And he says at Full Gear, he will give the fans everything. And he's going to give us cowboy shit. Throws the mic down, walks out. Nothing from Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was only seen during the beatdown of Luchasaurus earlier in the night. Very smart play. We still have a month. We still have 4 weeks from tonight. 4 weeks from tonight to get Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. I'm excited for the match. I can't wait to see Hangman Adam Page win that championship because just less than a week later, on the 17th, they will be in Hangman Page's hometown. That will be something. We're to Bryan Danielson versus Bobby Fish. This is your main event of AEW on Saturday night. This was... My question going into this match is what? How beat up, how bruised up is Bryan Danielson going to be? If you missed the match between Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki last night, I mean, it's there live. It's not live anymore. It's on YouTube still, so you can go watch it now. But there's just something about watching that match live, just like any other match live, that just it hits different than watching. Like if I would have missed Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson live, which I actually watched it live because I wasn't going to miss that match live, it felt great. It's at 715,000 views, the actual whole show, for you if you want to go check that out on YouTube. But that match was crazy. Like, it was, and Bryan Danielson has already got 2 Match of the Year candidates on his resume in AEW in 2021. I'm really surprised in 2021 that I shouldn't say I'm surprised, because that's just how Bryan Danielson is. He is a Match of the Year machine. He is a Match of the Year machine, and I honestly think if things go the way I think they're going to, he's going to have another Match of the Year going at Full Gear. But we'll talk about that here in a second. So, Bryan Danielson, Bobby Fish had a match last night as well, but Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki went over 20 minutes. Whereas Bobby Fish and Lee Moriarty went 8 minutes. So, yes, Bobby Fish did sustain some damage on his elbow. I think it was his elbow. But it's like, 8 minutes in a match, cool, shower, whatever, go to bed if you can. Bryan Danielson was out there for 20 plus minutes, it felt like. And it wasn't like 20 minutes of him just beating down Minoru Suzuki. No, Minoru Suzuki beat the shit out of him. He beat the shit out of Minoru Suzuki. I'm sure Danielson woke up this morning sore everywhere. Because he went to war last night. And I was like, do you really want to put Bryan Danielson out there? I'm glad they made this the main event. They could have easily made this the opener if they wanted to. If it would have been a more serious, if it wouldn't have been such a who's under the mask, and it would have been an actual surprise of who was under the mask for Andrade, I could have seen that being the main event if it was done better. I mean, it was fine for FTR to win the tag titles, but the whole who's under the mask thing was kind of stupid. Just have two of Andrade's friends or two of some, whatever. That could have been your main event if it was done right. But this, hell of a main event. Bobby Fish working on the knee halfway. When we go to commercial break, Bobby Fish kicked the knee out. It is working on the knee, just ties it up in the ropes, kicks it up, beats the hell out of it. Eventually, Bryan Danielson's able to get a dragon screw on Bobby Fish's knee. So both knees are compromised. He gets a couple of those. Now, they're kicking each other. They got each other in a knee bar each. Knee bar. They start kicking each other. Bryan Danielson grabs Fish's leg and gives it the nastiest twist I have ever seen. Honestly, I think he could have ripped Bobby Fish's knee out. Makes Bobby Fish tap out. So Bryan Danielson is your winner of this match. And then we find out the bracket. Who is in the title Eliminator tournament? It is an 8-man tournament. Here is your bracket. Dark Order's 10 will take on Jon Moxley. Orange Cassidy will take on Powerhouse Hobbs. Eddie Kingston will take on Lance Archer. And Bryan Danielson will take on Dustin Rhodes. Next Friday, it will be Powerhouse Hobbs versus Orange Cassidy on Rampage. Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer will face off next Saturday night. And Dustin Rhodes and Bryan Danielson will as well. Now, obviously, with the paper that people were going up with, the match that sticks out that's obviously probably going to happen is Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Honestly, out of the 8 people here, the only 2, you could have had these guys on the same side, and I'm like, gee, who the hell are they going to kick out of the show, out of the tag team, the title eliminator to get to the finals? If Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson would have ended up on the same side, the winner of that match, in my opinion, would have been going on to the finals and would win, because Dustin's not winning, Archer's not winning, Kingston's not winning, Hobbs isn't winning, Cassidy's not winning, and Ten's not winning. Honestly, this it sucks that this whole paper thing happened, and even if the paper thing didn't happen and it was oh well, this is the card, this is the full card, Tony Khan released the full card, which I don't think he did. It's just there are some matches that were kind of obvious. This bracket is, in my opinion, very weak. Very, very weak. Dustin Rhodes, why is Dustin Rhodes in a title eliminator tournament match? Just so Bryan Danielson can get an easy win? Lance Archer, I hate to say it, but they've done nothing with Lance Archer. He has just been misused, miscast, and outside of his U.S. IWGP U.S. title win, there's just really hasn't been anything great for this guy. So the last set of rankings they had for AEW, if I can get the world title up here, for the men's ranking, it loads up. Let's see here. Hangman on page number 1. So the only one not in the top 4 who should be in here, honestly, is Miro. Why is Miro not here? Why is it not Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs, or Miro versus one of these guys? Miro versus Orange Cassidy. Miro versus Orange Cassidy would be interesting because you'd have Orange Cassidy lose to Miro, and then Moxley versus Miro, which I think would be great, and then you have Hobbs versus Bryan Danielson. Dustin has no business being in this title tournament. What has Dustin done in the last year to even be warranted to be in this title tournament? Honestly, if you ain't, I'm surprised Miro's not in this tournament. I mean, there's no reason he needs to be going for the TNT Championship again. I mean, come on. But yeah, like, in my opinion, this is a very weak tournament. I don't know. MJF was not going to be in the title this tournament because MJF, why would you put MJF in there? Because if MJF doesn't win, it's pointless. But it's going to be Moxley and Danielson. It's kind of obvious. Even if we didn't see the spoiler card, it's obvious who's going to go to the finals. Who wins? I don't know right now. I wouldn't have Danielson win. For the simple fact is, if Danielson doesn't win, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. It all depends on how the title match goes. If Kenny Omega does not win, which if Jon Moxley wins the title tournament, then the Eliminator tournament, then Hangman wins, and then you get Moxley and Hangman, and of course Hangman should beat Moxley. If Bryan Danielson wins, then it would make sense for Kenny Omega to win against Hangman Adam Page, which would kill Hangman Adam Page. AEW's got themselves booked into a very big conundrum right here. Bryan Danielson should not be winning this title tournament. Jon Moxley could win, and we don't need to see Moxley and Omega again. Moxley and Hangman would be an interesting match. The problem is, you have Powerhouse Hobbs is the only certifiable heel in this entire tournament. Ken's a babyface, Moxley's a babyface, Cassidy's a babyface, Kingston and Archer are tweeners, Bryan Danielson is a babyface, and Dustin Rhodes is a babyface. So, I don't know what they were thinking, but this tournament bracket is kind of weak. Just going to say that right now. Very weak. And that is your AEW on TNT review. It was a good show. I mean, it's not one of the blowaway shows they've had over the last few months. It'll be very interesting to see how they do viewership-wise, even though none of us should care, even though the WWE shills would be like, oh my god, look at AEW, they couldn't even hit 1 million views on Saturday. Well, it's on Saturday, you stupid fucks. People are watching college football. People are watching NHL. Sports are back. You want to know I don't care if you're Raw, SmackDown, AEW, US, NXT, Impact Wrestling, MLW, New Japan, anything else. Professional wrestling is always going to play second, third, fourth fiddle to sports. More, especially in 2021, more people are going to watch a sports team over professional wrestling. You don't like to hear that? Too fucking bad. But stop making these goddamn excuses for Monday Night Raw because, it's just football. But when AEW gets hit by the MLB playoffs or the NHL coming back, AEW sucks and they're going to suck. Fuck off. Everyone gets affected by sports and professional wrestling. It's always going to happen like that. Well, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, find me on Minds the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/The France Club, and find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I will see you guys on Monday for another useless 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.